Okay, so here's one of our historical markers. We found Fort Worth's first flight. So this connects on to some other videos I've made incidentally, but here we are. We were downtown and we just looked at a historical marker, and there's a first flight, something called the First Flight Park, and sure enough there's a historical marker and a model of the airplane in 1910, 7 years after the Wright brothers. They were here, it looks like they came to Fort Worth on January 12, 1911, so that's 8 years afterwards. There was a group called the Mousant International Aviators. And so they came here and had a demonstration. There was a racetrack in this area, and they might have used that as a takeoff field or something like that. And they flew, and it was a start of aviation in Fort Worth. And aviation has a big history here, as you see when you read this marker. I've done some other videos. I did one recently for Barron Field, which is down by Everman Park in the south, and that's where they trained World War I pilots. It mentions it here on the historical marker. They managed to get some World War I pilots here to train. Canadians came down south and trained at Fort Worth. That's probably relating to weather. There's a lot better weather here for flight than probably up in Canada. And then Canadian pilots also were instrumental in training our pilots with General Pershing, I think, was involved in getting that happen. And that happened here in Fort Worth. And then it was like it says that there was 3 World War I training places, one in Saginaw, Benbrook, and Everman. And I think in Saginaw, you can probably think about Meacham Field. And in that same place was where the helium plant was. There's a helium plant, and that helium plant was there because of West Texas helium that we could bring in to Fort Worth to fuel the dirigibles. The Navy had 4 dirigible ships that used to come and dock here at Fort Worth. So Fort Worth was involved in that. And then there was a plant, Amon Carter was instrumental in promoting this. It says in the description here. But there was also a construction plant for aircraft to build B-24 bombers in this part of Fort Worth, and that is over in that area. That probably morphed into Convair, where my dad worked. He worked at Convair building airplanes in this same area, which really, that contract changed to Lockheed Martin, I think, and it's still there. So anyway, it's an interesting thing right here in Fort Worth, this little spot. You can see the skyline behind us. It's just like in the middle of a municipal Fort Worth with you have apartment complexes over here, and the downtown Fort Worth, and it's kind of a forgotten place, but somebody decided to build a memorial to it to remember it. The first flight in Fort Worth, and it was been in 1911. So again, they flew in this death trap here, of an airplane. Now, it probably wasn't that dangerous, but you can tell they were just a little more than strings, wire, and sticks. And that's how they flew the early airplanes. So thank you.